Hello, good evening. Hello, Lord Maiden. Hello, anyone else who's there with us at the moment? Oh, there's a few people already. I apologise for being late to my own launch party there. I couldn't find the button that said go live because I've never scheduled a live video before. As some of you might already know, this is in fact only the second live YouTube thing I've ever done, and yes, I have had a substantial haircut since the last one, in case anyone was on that one as well. Yes, lockdown has eased a little bit, the barbers are now open, and I was knocking down the door ready to get my lockdown mane locked off. It's 3 minutes until the Kickstarter in news, which is possibly more relevant and less inane. So I hope that the fact that there are people live on this stream suggests that someone's going to back it. That would be good. It would be a little bit depressing if I sat here for the next sort of half an hour or so, and we've got absolutely no pledges whatsoever. I can see the number of people watching this at the moment going up and down, and I wonder whether that's because people are checking the actual Kickstarter page to see whether it's gone live, or whether it's just because I'm either incredibly boring or ugly, or both. So the purpose of this video, really, let's just move this. The purpose of this live stream, this video, really is for any of you who are interested in Pirates of the Dread Sea, who are backing the Kickstarter tonight, to be able to ask any questions of me. Here I am live. I'm going to be here until 8:30, and I just received a compliment in the sidebar there, which is nice, although I suspect it's probably from my mum or someone else I know well. Good evening, Special K99, perhaps a reference to the serial. I'm just wiping grit off my screen. It's 2 minutes to go, so as I'm saying, please remember to back the Kickstarter if you're interested in it, rather than just watching me. I'm assuming that my clock's right, and it's now 1 minute to go. So yeah, you guys are going to be with me as I hit the launch button, and then I will sort of watch as maybe the pledges go up. And importantly, we'll be here to take questions. I have tried to make that clear on the Kickstarter page itself. So any of the other people that look at it will know that I'm here to answer any questions that they might have. In the meantime, I'm just going to nervously sip at one of 2 drinks I have prepared by my side. The thing about Kickstarter is it's always nerve-wracking. Whatever you have done to prepare or not done to prepare, it'll always send those butterflies to your stomach. Sometimes that's good. I mean, obviously it's exciting if things go well, and obviously it's worrying if things go less well, because I care very much about Pirates of the Dread Sea and about the games, and building a community, really. I think that's what I hope to do with this project. It is 8 o'clock. I am going to push the button. So you'll see my eyes flit around now as I open a different window. Launch now. Drum roll. It literally says drum roll on the screen. Oh. Then it's gone back to launch now. And we are live, I believe. Congratulations, your project is live. So I suppose I should press all the Facebook, Twitter and email buttons, although thank you very much for the shares, guys. I know actually that a lot of people have been sharing in various ways some forms I know about, some things I really don't know about at all. Oh, £65. First backer here. First backer, well then, welcome aboard. And that's jumped to 195, so that's good. We've got 3 backers in straight away. I'm really pleased about that. Obviously, I'm pleased about it. Gutted. It's terrible. Making money already. What are these fools doing? You're not fools. You're wonderful, wonderful people, and I can't wait to deliver stuff. So, if you just excuse me for a minute, and do by all means feel absolutely free to say hello to one another on the feed, particularly if you don't know each other, because that would be lovely. Just trying to click the Facebook, Twitter and email things to spread the word, but perhaps that's not necessary right now, because I've kind of been doing it all day, haven't I? Yeah, you got the early bird, good one, and well done, get the early bird. So early bird pledge obviously is the Scryer crew, the Orcs and Goblins crew, the Narwhals and the Fairies, and the supplement that we decided to do sort of last minute. Well, we were going to do it as a PDF. Now we're doing it in print. All of those things for just 65 quid at early bird. It'll be 70 quid when those early birds are gone. And it is genuinely really good value. Obviously, I would say, but no, I think it is good value, and it's good for us if we get lots of, if we get 50 people backing to use up those early birds, then that's great. So yeah, that's 3 of you already in on the sort of the sweet spot pledge, which I imagine is typically called the sweet spot pledge. Great, got your early birds. Well done, guys. Excellent stuff. So we are now sitting at 331 with 6 backers. I'm not going to sit here for the next 15 days and update you as each one goes in. That would be perhaps over the top. And also in the cellar, or Dead Earth Towers, as I like to call it, I literally only have booze. So probably wouldn't survive for 2 weeks. Thank you, Andy. Andy says that's Curio. Sorry if I refer to people by their real names and you don't want me to, do poke me with a stick and tell me not to do that. Oh, sorry, Andy's just introduced himself, so clearly that's okay with him. Anyone else? I don't know your real name. I mean, I might know your real names, but I haven't connected your real names to your usernames. Anyway, also I am aware that I have referred to you all as guys numerous times, and if you don't like that, then poke me with a stick. I try not to do it. Because only my mum calls me Andrew. Yeah, lots of people have that, don't they? Only their mums use their full name or their name and their surname. I don't really have that. For some reason, I always use Richard at work in my day job, so I write Richard and people call me Richard, which is it's a daft thing to do because everyone in my family and all of my friends call me Rich. And obviously, I wrote the book under Rich, and I'm on the internet as Rich. Graham Rigg. Now, there is someone using presumably their real name, or if not, it's a pseudonym that they've held for a while, because I recognise your name, Graham, from previous projects we've done, I am sure. Is that right? Do let me know. I'm pretty sure you've backed us on some stuff before, and it is fabulous on that basis, or frankly on any basis, to have you around. So we are about 4 minutes in, I think. We are on 12 backers and we're on £759 of our desired 3,500 goal. Now, I am very pleased with that indeed. As most of you know, we've done a few Kickstarters now. We've done, I think, 5 successful and 1 unsuccessful. We won't mention that one because it still makes me cry. And obviously, we've done a couple of the pirate ones already. We've always tried to let people know about things in different ways. We've paid for advertising, we've sent meetings out, we've tried to do stuff with magazines. This time I'm way more involved in Twitter than ever before, and I don't know, well, I guess we'll see and find out whether that's been effective or not. But one thing I absolutely have noticed is the number of people that kind of, what's the word, that bookmarked the link for the Kickstarter before it launched. That was a high number in comparison, so some of the others. Okay, a couple of other friendly faces back. So yeah, I know one of you, again, don't think I do know your real name, Ortega, but obviously you've supported us previously. And Ian P, yes, I think I put something in the post to you, Ian P, very shortly. And Lord Maiden is backer #1. But who are you? Do I know you, Lord Maiden? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I mean, Lord Maiden really doesn't give it away, because the Venn diagram of War Games players and Iron Maiden fans is that, isn't it? Pretty much. I mean, there's got to be one. there's presumably plenty of Iron Maiden fans that don't like wargaming, but there are less wargaming fans that don't like Iron Maiden. It might not be referenced to Iron Maiden, of course. It could. I think it is though, isn't it? Is that Eddie artwork in your avatar? I don't know. I can't really see, and that's because the thing's gone. Speak about the booklet, and I messaged you about the code being wrong during the stream. Yes. Okay. So, Lord Maiden was on the really great Blackjack Legacy, sorry, painting stream the other day, as was EMP, I think. Yeah, EMP. So a combination of Sharp and I made nice combo. Yeah, again, Venn diagrams with Sharp, probably quite a significant amount there. Classic stuff. So yeah, both of those backers were on a live stream which was done by Blackjack Legacy, another YouTube channel. Do seek him out. So the guy does live streams a couple of times a week, I think. Normally one about reviews and things, normally one with painting, which is more of a hangout. And I went on there because he was painting a couple of the Pirates miniatures, and just had an absolutely fantastic, wonderful response from the community. Loads of people chatting away. I chucked out some discount codes, and and that worked pretty well as well. People were happy about those, mainly because I initially got the discount code wrong and gave people more money off than I meant to. But hey, that's actually not bothering me in the least, because it has meant that people are talking about the game, are knowing about the game. Special KK was there too on that stream, so do check out Blackjack Legacy on YouTube. As I say, there's that painting video. So he paints the human crew captain Thornback, and one of the skeleton crew as well on a live stream. And it's definitely well worth watching, because what's interesting about that is that a lot of painters will kind of get used to doing similar stuff. So if you paint something from Warhammer or from Infinity, or especially if you paint something historical, there's probably an expectation about what it's going to look like. There's kind of a uniform or a guide color scheme. And with ours, obviously with Pirates, that there absolutely isn't. So you could look at the promo work we've had done and decide to paint your miniature like you wanted to, which would be great. But equally, you can do pretty much anything. And if you follow us on Twitter, which is @DeadEarthGames, you will see we repost a lot of stuff that people have painted from our ranges, and all sorts of variety, lots of fun stuff. Just checking the messages. Andy showed the Dreadsea models off, and they are fantastic. Well, thank you very much. I am genuinely chuffed to pieces with all of the models that we have created so far for Pirates of the Dreadsea. I'm not the sculptor. I kind of come up with concepts. I wrote the rules for the game, and so created the idea of the game, and send concepts to either artists or sculptors. And we're blessed to have wonderful people working with us in both of those regards. But these miniatures, like we've done another game before, and we've done some individual models before, but these ones I genuinely think are absolutely fantastic. The whole range, the human pirates, the dwarf pirates, the thunder pirates, and now the scryer, the goblins, the orcs, the fairies, and the narwhals. So speaking of the fairies and the narwhals, I think I did add a little picture of the miniature fairy prints onto the page just before I went live. But I've also printed out today, and this is only on a home 3D printer. This is not pro stuff. But we changed one of the narwhals. I've talked about this before, so that it's more of a user-friendly game piece. So that rather than being a whole whale, it's now leaping out of the water in the way that perhaps a humpback would do. I don't know if narwhals do that, but they're not going to see me if they don't. And it's come out really well, actually. I say it's a home 3D printer. It is. It's an Ergo Mars. It's a relatively inexpensive printer. And I am going to get these printed professionally before we make masters of them, because I want them to be as good as the rest of the range. But I'm pretty happy with how that's seen out. And yeah, I've done, as I say, I think I put the fairies, picture of the fairies up, but I printed out the miniature versions of the fairies. So if you've seen the fairies before, we've shared pictures of the regular size ones, which are of the same scale of the other miniatures. But fairies now again can change size, and so I printed up the teeny tiny ones, and there's no chance of focusing on it. It actually has come out pretty well. I guess that is about 8mm. I haven't measured it yet. It's bigger than the old Epic models, but I don't think it can be a sensor. It can be 10mm, but they've worked. So I'm chuffed with that, because we are going to be able to get those made at that size, I think, without too much further work. So you never know when you print things off for the first time if there might be parts which are just too small to cast when you get to the mold making process. And we've had that problem before with things like spears, where things are really, really thin because the sculptors try to make them as realistic as possible, and it just hasn't worked out that way in a sort of practical basis. But I think these guys will be okay if they're not. Again, I've said guys when I'm talking about fairies who are female. I think the fairies will come out okay, but if they don't, we will make some modifications to them, take some of the detail out, make some of the parts bigger, or simply make them a little bit bigger, and that will work fine. That's one of the joys of 3D printing, 3D design, CAD design, computer-assisted design, is that these miniatures haven't been made out of Sculpey or clay, as our early ones were. They've been designed on a computer, which means if you want to change them, you can change them. Shall we do? I'm going to take a drink. Shall we do the telephone thing, and we'll just have a total? Now, I'm aware that many of you, if you're anything like me, will have the total in a separate screen anyway, so you know what it is, so you don't particularly need me to announce the total. I'm going to do it anyway, because otherwise I'm not sure what I'm doing here. The total amount pledged so far in the first 13 minutes of the Pirates of the Dreadsea Orc, Goblin and Scribe Pirates campaign of a desired goal of £3,500. The total amount achieved so far is £1,073 pledged. That's 19 backers. Just realised that we've got 2 comments. Yay, more swashbuckling goodness, and just shared it too on Facebook from a guy who has backed us previously. Jamie has backed us, well, I can see on Facebook. Jamie, I don't know if you're around on the YouTube. I say YouTube like my daughter. She's older now, but when she was little, we told her that she said she wanted to watch something on the TV. No, it's a smart TV with the various apps. And I said, yeah, I think it's on YouTube. And she was like, YouTube, what's YouTube? Is he an owl? So I tend to say it like that now. Ortega is going to try and paint some more Pirates of the Dreadsea minis this weekend, which is good news. I love to see the miniatures. Keep them coming on Twitter. Keep them coming on Facebook. If you haven't found our Facebook group, just stick into Facebook, Pirates of the Dreadsea Community, and you will find it. It's a nice group. It's a friendly group. It's not the busiest in the world at the moment, and I think that's mainly because we are still coming out of recovering from lockdown, and as such, I just don't think very many people have had the opportunity to actually play the game yet. So we've got lots of people very enthusiastic about the game, lots of people painting miniatures and sometimes sharing those, which is fantastic to see. And people that have read the rule book but not necessarily got to actually play it with an opponent yet, which is the way of the world at the moment. I really hope to see more of that. See you later, Andy, Geek Curio. Thank you very much with the for the best wishes. Yeah, I'm going to be on for either another 15 minutes until the little number there reads 0, because that would suggest that nobody's watching, and then I would just be talking to myself, which I spend a fair amount of time in this particular cellar doing, but I don't need to be doing it today. And I do have to put Little Pirate to bed. Little Pirate is staying up a little bit later than usual so that I can do this, and I can hear her tub thumping around above me. If plastic pours down from the ceiling at any point this evening, it will be because my darling daughter, my firstborn, has come through the ceiling finally whilst dancing to Xbox game music and killed me. At least you'll know, and you can feel the authority on that. So I think she's still playing Xbox games. So I think that's what she was doing. She's playing something called Ooblets, which is her thing. It's not my thing, although I don't disapprove of it. It's a good thing for kids to play. It's quite cute and inoffensive. So we're on 1,000. Well, it's just gone up as I was saying that. Thank you whoever did that. 1,268, 1,292, 23 backers. So are you going to put? Oh, hang on, we've got an actual question. Are you going to put any extras available on the Kickstarter for people to add things like the main rulebook to their pledge to maybe compile postage? Yes. So hopefully that is actually already on the Kickstarter, but I only added it on today, and I realised that I might have messed it up. So let's have a little look. So it is on, but it's way down on the main page. Maybe I need to move that around. KK. So yes, the extras. So the rule book, human crew, the undead crew, dwarf crew, and all the previous Kickstarter exclusives and the previous campaigns, they are all available as extras. So very simply, if you want to add the rule book, the human crew, or the undead crew, add £24 to any pledge. To add the dwarf crew, add £20 to any pledge. To add the previous Kickstarter exclusives, which is the skeleton holding the bomb, the chef version of the human character, Juan de Silva, so it's basically Long John Silver, and the dwarf chef, add £14 for those three. So any pledge, £24 for the book, the human crew, or the undead crew, at £20 for the dwarf crew, £14 for those three exclusive Kickstarter characters, two of which I'm pretty much retiring for the foreseeable future, so that they are properly exclusive. So if you want those exclusive from the previous campaigns, do get them now. Because yeah, the human one and the skeleton I'm not going to be producing anytime soon. The dwarf chef is a little bit different because he's on the same mold as some other stuff. So if I don't find some way of selling him, I'm just going to end up with a cellar full of dwarf chefs, which, you know, that could be something. So I'm just doing that because I'm looking around the camera. So someone just messaged me with some pics of a diorama they're making, which I hope to be able to share with all of you lovely people, Kickstarter backers and YouTube watchers, a little bit later in the week, or maybe next week when he's made that. So I'm gonna try my best to promote the heck out of this Kickstarter. There will hopefully be a couple of things like that. So someone's making a diorama for us. Shoshi of Shoshi's magnificent miniature painting will be doing a live stream painting the Goblin Captain, and I think that's going to happen next week, so a little bit later on. Yeah, thanks, Special KK. I mean, I am aware that I've kind of chucked, so that comment is just that you can see that the add-ons are there. I'm aware that I've chucked a load of stuff on the main page, and people could put that in any order, and I put it in the order I put it in. It might not be the best, so I will continue to take feedback on that if people think it could be clearer. Ultimately, that's totally one of the reasons why I am doing this YouTube thing. I'm going to do other YouTube things because there are a couple of people watching. I think maybe we'll do a halfway point one, and maybe I'll do some videos in the Kickstarter updates, which is something that I only sort of did once before, but it kind of works for me. I'm quite happy doing these. I'm not the most shy and retiring type. I can babble on at you. I mean, I'm not going to go into what my day job is, but it does involve talking quite a lot. So that's cool. Okay, got a couple of messages on Twitter. One from someone letting me know that they have backed, and one letting me know that I can add on something else to the campaign, which I'll do later. So that is that there will be another mat available. So we had a mat available for the previous Kickstarter campaign. I've had a new one made, and we put that up as an add-on. It's massive. It's 6x4 this time. It's a bunch of different islands. It's going to fit in with the campaign that you'll get if you're back for the Hunted supplement. So basically, it's going to be the two crews chasing the narwhals around all of the islands. So yes, you'll have your Scryer, oh no, you can see that, the goblins, and chasing these guys, chasing Splashy and Splashy's friend. There's been some debate over the noise that narwhals make. I stand to take advice on that. Yes, game mat sounds cool. It is cool. I've got one somewhere. There will be a photo of it very soon. Maybe tonight, maybe not tonight. It depends what time little pirate goes to sleep when I stop neglecting her, and go and put her to sleep. That sounds wrong, doesn't it? That's what you do to sick animals. When I escort her to her bedchambers and tell her to be quiet and go to sleep. Let's do the tell-alarm thing again. So that's only 21 minutes into night 1 of our campaign. We are on 25 backers, £1,381 pledged of a £3,500 goal. So that's great. That's really good progress, genuinely, because the first night, the first day, the first sort of 24 hours of any Kickstarter campaign, it's, as most of you will know, because I think most people here have backed Kickstarters, are really important, but also a really good indicator of whether or not you're going to make it. So they're important because it helps get the word out of the Kickstarter campaign in and of itself. So our Twitter, our Facebook, our word of mouth, our live streams and stuff like that will get the gamers who are involved in those things aware. But there are other people out there that don't know that we exist and don't know that we're happening. And there are people that will just be browsing Kickstarter and what's going on Kickstarter. So if we do well in those first 24 hours, Kickstarter themselves might notice and they might give us a little bit of promotion. One thing that I'm going to do now, which I haven't done so far, is have a look on Kicktraq. So that's Kicktraq, and you can use that to have a look at statistically how anyone's Kickstarter is doing. So you could look at our previous ones, or I don't know why you would want to, but you could theoretically, and it would show you how much money was pledged each day, how many comments were made each day, blah 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 blah. It shows you the averages and progress. It does give you some predictions or some ideas of what might happen as well, but they are very heavily to be taken with a pinch of salt. It draws you a graph based on your first day, which is daft because you're always going to do better on your first day. So like you get, as we have, 1,200 on your first day, and it goes, look at that, you do that every day, you're going to be a millionaire. We're not going to do that every day, or at least we never have done, and most people don't. So I can't find us on Kicktraq yet, but probably because I've given this project such a long name because I wanted it to be visible to people who know about Pirates of the Dread Sea and people that don't. Okay, so I can't see that on Kicktraq there. If anyone can, let me know, and I'll look in a more qualified and educated way. We are now on 1,446 from 26 backers. That's what we've pledged so far. I have it's not really a theory, it's a guesstimate. I have a point in my head where I think if you do that in the first 2 hours of a Kickstarter, then the chances are you will be successful based on the ones which we've done before, which have been successful, and the one that we did that wasn't successful. So so I'm just looking at Twitter. So someone's saying, "Oh, I got back a number 2. I wanted to go back a number 1." Hey ho, I genuinely don't mind. You are all very, very worthy people to me. So I'm going to wrap this up in 5 minutes' time, which is the time that I've told Little Pirate I'm going to go back to being Daddy and put her to bed, as opposed to being Captain Rich as I am now. My nerves are settled. Anyone else having a drink? I did suggest earlier that I would be drinking rum during this. That's a lie. I'm drinking whiskey, and in theory I'm drinking beer. I opened the beer, I haven't touched it. I am on holiday from my day job. I'm not knocking these back in there and intending to rock up to work in the morning. So what I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm going to probably just sit pressing F5. F5. Although I'm just looking at the screen to see where it was. Where is F5? It's where it always was. It's just in between F4 and F6. Radical. You need a bigger game table. You're not going to need a bigger game table. You don't need a 6x4 game map to play Pirates of the Dread Sea by any stretch of the imagination. But that mat is for people that want to use boats as well, really, and narwhals, because the narwhals don't come on land. They're not These ones certainly, and I'm already thinking that we could change it in the future. But these narwhals are not magic narwhals; they're regular, living in the water, marine mammals, and as such, we need plenty of sea on it. And the hunting the narwhal thing just appealed to me, and as we have got the scry with the narwhal. Narwhal horn. I think it's a tusk, isn't it? It's not going to focus. So he kind of inspired the creation of narwhals in the game. And initially, I thought we can't make whales that massive, but narwhals aren't particularly big as whales go. I mean, I wouldn't want to put one in a lunchbox. Will the older game map be available? Probably. The reason the older game map isn't available at the moment is of a practical issue, which is not particularly interesting, but basic. So no one from the previous Kickstarters had their game mats yet, so I'm not going to sell anyone else's game mat until I've given the people from the previous Kickstarter the game mats which they're owed, if that makes sense. So they are in the post to people, and once people have got them, I will be happy to sell them to other people. But I'm not a fan of the idea of selling people things which someone has previously pledged for and we haven't yet delivered, if that makes sense. Bolts. So the big game mat 6x4. The game mat we've done before is 4x4. I tend to play on 3x3 or 4x4 for crew-on-crew games. You can go wherever you like with ships. There, you can go as big as you like. We've got 2 dinghies that will be coming out: a sailing dinghy and a rowing dinghy. They will be released at some point. They might be released in time for us to add them onto your pledges late in the day. So if we ship as expected in a couple of months' time, we might be able to put them on. Be very happy to do that. In terms of bigger ships, we don't have any firm plans to make bigger ships at the moment, but there's plenty out there. I would personally recommend the ones by Dark Ops. There's some good stuff coming out by Reaper, but I think you might have missed the boat on getting those in Kickstarter, so I think that's something we'd have to wait for retail. But certainly the Dark Ops ships, particularly the bigger ones, I've got some of and I'm very happy with. There's also, the older mat is 4x4. And I've got one lying around. I will have one lying around somewhere. So all of my mats are made by Tiny Wargames, and I also have several other mats by Tiny Wargames. So I had to check whether this was ours and that one. So this is the small one, believe it or not. This is the 4x4, and yeah, I'm perfectly happy to sell them to people and to add them onto Kickstarter pledges once I know that people have started receiving the first lot. So that 4x4, as you can see, it's kind of a Skull Island theme, which someone suggested was a bit corny, but I think we turned the skull outside. We didn't do the really obvious thing. But it's a fantasy war game at the end of the day, isn't it? It's not literature, although there might be some literature coming. Okay, I'm going to wrap up. People want that. Okay, I will make that available. But Kickstarter is going to run for 15 days. I reckon I can get it on there in a week's time when I've got confirmation from other people that they've received theirs. And I might just be being a bit silly about that. Let me know in the comments if I am. But if I backed something on Kickstarter, then someone else was able to buy it before I'd got my pledge, I would feel a little bit sort of wrong-footed by that. If that's even the phrase, I don't know if that's the phrase. Right, guys, I am going to log off today in about a minute. I'm going to do more live streams because people are here and they're chatting, and that's great. So I will do more live streams. Maybe we'll do a halfway point one. As I said, maybe I'll do an update one. I think maybe we could do a chat and questions on Friday night, something like that. But quickly, before I do log off, has anybody got any questions now? I'm happy to answer any and all. Thank you very much for the wishes of good luck. Thank you very much for your pledges. So much for your pledges today. As I say, using my own personal, entirely non-scientific formula to predict whether or not the campaign is going to be successful, I'm happy. I don't want to jinx it. But then maybe that obvious. It's at nearly 1,500 or 3,500 in a little over half an hour. Now, obviously, you guys could be the only ones that are going to back it. Okay. So I don't think there's any other questions. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Thank you, everyone, for pledging. The one thing that I haven't addressed in this video, which I should say is on the main page, but if you have pledged and if you share that you have pledged, or you share the project on social media, whether it be on the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, in a forum, whether it be on your personal Facebook page because you don't use any other things, whatever, if you share our project and you have that, you are entitled to the additional free figure. So all you need to do is let me know one way or another. I might set up a special email address for that, but certainly you can let me know at info@deadearth.co.uk, via the Kickstarter, via Facebook, via Twitter. Let me know that you've shared it, send me a screenshot or whatever, and you will get the extra free miniature with your pledge, whatever that pledge is. So you'll get Mike the cabin boy. He bears a slight resemblance to my brother Mike, who is the silent partner in Dead Earth Games, if not in life. You'll get one of those as well. Yeah, there's someone sent a message in Kickstarter with a link. That's absolutely fine. You will get him with whatever you pledge for. Thanks very much, everyone. Again, do share the heck out of us wherever you can, if you can, because it genuinely does help. It's the only way that war games get out there. It's the only way that small war games get out there, particularly in this time when we haven't got the shows, the conventions, or even necessarily the clubs. So thank you so much for all that you're doing. And stay in touch, and I will stay in touch with you lot as well. It's just there is a button that says where it says anything. Goodbye. Keep if you haven't pushed yet, be good if you did. Tell your friends. Sleep well. Thank you very much.